Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. We at the ICANSERVE Foundation from the Philippines are grateful for having received a SPARC grant. Like Francie, we are a SPARC grantee. It's an opportunity for us to expand and enhance our existing breast cancer programs and build on existing partnerships. We call the program Ignite Hope. This is the big picture in the Philippines. Breast cancer is the leading cancer. Actually, I got a more recent updated figure. We now have nearly 25,000 new cases every year. We don't have a national breast cancer screening program. Government financial assistance is limited to women with early-stage breast cancers. Yet these women are still burdened with a lot of out-of-pocket expenses. 73% of families with cancer in the low and middle class plunge into financial catastrophe, mostly within a year of cancer treatments. Women with advanced and metastatic breast cancer in my country don't stand a chance. When we meet them, we wish them well. We tell them we will pray for you. We pass the hat around, though it's never enough. We hope they cope, then we hear they're gone. They deserve much better. The goals of our project, Ignite Hope, is to first identify the needs of the women with advanced breast cancer and metastatic breast cancer to better help them. We also want to create a resource guide for women with all stages of breast cancer. We also want to train 20 patient navigators from partner cities on how best to service women with metastatic breast cancer, and for those who have had breast cancer, for navigators to remind the women to be vigilant and recognize and report symptoms of recurrence. And lastly, we wanted to institutionalize the role of the patient navigators for breast cancer patients in city health offices through a local ordinance. We would do this by first commissioning a report to know the profile of the women with ABC and MBC. We would also want to craft a patient navigation curriculum that's very relevant for the local communities we will serve. We will also embark on training and the creation and dissemination of the resource guide, and we will convince the mayors of partner cities to make it a permanent program. The research agency did in-depth one-on-one interviews with 12 women with metastatic breast cancer, 3 from the upper class, 4 from the middle class, and 5 from the lower class, about 12 women. So these kind of represented the typical profile of our country. These are just some highlights of the very long study. The knowledge of breast cancer was low for all economic classes. The knowledge of the upper income class, put simply, was cancer was a hard, immovable lump, and chemotherapy makes evolve. The poor hardly had any knowledge but held on to the belief that a biopsy can cause cancer to spread. Women from all economic classes occasionally did breast self-exams in the shower, and when they felt the lump, if it were soft, painless, and movable, they didn't take it seriously. Although the upper class had medical coverage from their place of work, this was no guarantee for early discovery of breast cancer because they didn't go for regular checkups. And for those who were previously diagnosed with breast cancer, they weren't diligent with their checkups. They were only vigilant for the first 2 years of remission. They initially ignored symptoms of metastatic breast cancer like a persistent cough for a year, back pain, or an insect bite-like wound in the breast. And when they decided to finally get help, women from the upper class sought an oncologist, no matter where he or she held clinic. The middle class was delayed because of work, and they chose a doctor close to their home. The lower class waited for months till a year. Their delay was a result of not knowing where to go and where to get the money to pay for this. The upper class took pain medicines as instructed by the doctor. This allowed them to continue going to work and feel a semblance of normalcy and make them feel positive about the cancer journey. The middle and lower class had a less positive journey. They stopped working because they felt weak all the time and were in pain a lot of times. They took their pain medicines intermittently. First, because they couldn't afford it. They also felt it would wreak damage on their liver or it would build immunity against it. Their time was also consumed by the long and tedious process of obtaining financial help from government. They also wished that they could work and wanted some leads on which employers would employ them and not discriminate against them. In the early stages of their journey, 2 of those in the middle class tried herbal medicines because it was cheaper, but they regretted it because the delayed treatment cause the cancer to spread to the bones. Now, how did they pay? Patients from the upper class had insurance with some out-of-pocket expenses they could afford. The middle class relied on their savings, got help from friends and relatives. Sometimes they approached government agencies, something very hard for them to do. The lower class borrowed, begged from family and friends, and went to government agencies. And they complained that government offices, the lines are long, the chairs are uncomfortable. It took months before one could get help for just one cycle of treatment. Across all economic groups, they had one common thing. They wanted to have someone with them during checkups and treatments, but they were too proud to ask. You'll never hear them ask. They still want to show people that they were independent and not patients. And should anyone promise to show up, they said, they should be fully committed. The patient gets very disappointed when this person backs out. It makes them feel more like a burden, like a loser. For the poor who don't have the luxury of seeing the same doctor in a government hospital, they complain about having to repeat their story over and over upon meeting a new doctor. They resented doctors who told them how long they had to live. They want to hear that they will get better. The biggest source of inspiration for all is their families. They also rely on emotional support from friends, their church, and doctors and nurses were very critical as well. They wanted a document telling them where to go, what to do, all these things in one Bible. We embarked on a patient navigation training, but before that, before creating the curriculum, we did a pre-training benchmarking survey to know what these people really needed. So we took 5 potential patient navigators from 4 partner cities, and these navigator trainees should also be able to train others. 3 of these 4 city partners have been our partners in the past for our early breast cancer screening program called Ating Dibdibin, or Take Your Breast Care to Heart. The 4th city participant didn't have a program in place. It had just purchased a mammography machine and wasn't still in the process of formulating their program. These are the 20 navigator trainings we had. Our training spanned 4 days. The program focused on defining the roles and key tasks as patient navigators, understanding and overcoming barriers to timely, responsive, affordable care, providing key competencies, with different guest speakers covering basic breast cancer information, understanding advanced and metastatic breast cancer, counseling, pain management, hospice, and the like. We also invited women with metastatic breast cancer. One of them just got married, so it was very inspiring for the participants. The 4th day was dedicated to site visits to government funding agencies and facilities, including the Community Health Center of the Gig City. One of the city partners that already had patient navigation in place. Although they had training before, it didn't include sensitivity to women with metastatic breast cancer. One of the biggest eye-openers for the participants was the patient flow process map we asked all of them to work on based on their experiences. It showed them the length of time it took to help one patient, the bottlenecks and causes of delay. Results shocked them and inspired them to do better. Most of the delays were due to waiting for laboratory results, surgery schedule which took up to a month, limited chemotherapy facilities, communicating with patients who didn't have cell phones or telephones, the financial situation of the patient, and in the case of Malabon City, one of our partners, they didn't have a tertiary hospital in their city or anywhere nearby. And there's politics. For Malabon City, the congressman representing the district does not get along with the city mayor, so the congressman never allotted funds for health programs in the city of his district. That's our politics. So for the 3 city partners with breast cancer programs in place, the average time from diagnosis to first treatment ranged from 42 to 60 days. And that's already short. And for one city, it took 10 months. You could be in a different stage by the time you saw a doctor or had your first chemotherapy. We are not yet done with the SPARC program. We have about 3 or 4 months to go. But it is encouraging to know that from the get-go, all 4 city partners agreed to work on a patient navigation ordinance so it becomes a permanent program in their locality. We also plan to present our patient navigation training program to the Metro Manila Mayor Spouses Foundation for other cities to adopt the patient navigation program and an early breast cancer detection program. There are about 16 cities and 1 municipality in Metro Manila. We are also in the process of creating a resource guide for patients in Metro Manila, so it's a Bible or one-stop source of information for the patients. We will print material and put some online. The ultimate dream is to have a national resource guide, perhaps an app, that lists resources for breast cancer patients of any stage. And that hopefully one day, patient navigation becomes mandatory in all communities. We have actually found an advocate in the Senate, but that's going to take a long time. But we will hold her to her promise. And as Vice Chairman of the Cancer Coalition of the Philippines, the ICANSERVE Foundation hopes to get a Cancer Act passed. Francie, you're lucky on your Act passed. We've been working on it for nearly 2 years, and it we put provisions for support care services for women with MBC. We still need help from national government to support efforts on local levels, as most of them say it's something they have difficulty providing. We have barely scratched the surface of the problem, but we believe with your help, thank you to SPARC, thank you Marina, thank you Sabrina, we are planting seeds. And so far this is where we're at, and we'd like to think we'll get true to the title of our program, Ignite Hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Cara.